Hey, I'm Tina, and I want to do a video about how to obtain your South Carolina real estate license if you are a resident of North Carolina and either already have your North Carolina real estate license or you are trying to or in the process of obtaining your North Carolina real estate license. That was a mouthful, but hopefully I can help someone. This is just my experience. It may apply to someone that's applying to South Carolina license from another state, but I can only speak to my experience, which is um, applying to South Carolina and being um, a licensee of North Carolina. With that said, um, what I did was I was in the process of taking the North Carolina state national test. And at that time, I knew I wanted to get my South Carolina license because literally the benefits I feel are if you do have a client that wants to go to Union County, it's so close to Charlotte that you might as well just go ahead and get it and not have the issue of the the buyer um, not wanting to work with you because you don't have a South Carolina license. It's so easy just to trickle over to South Carolina. It's literally 20 minutes away. So why not get it? You will expand your territory, and who has time to go back and do this stuff later? You want to be done with all your tests if possible. So I just knocked it out. So as I was taking my North Carolina State National Test, I actually went online to the South Carolina Department of Labor Licensing and Regulations, the Real Estate Commission, and submitted my application. Now, it's not as simplistic as I would like, so I hope this clarifies at least some of the mystery of the application process obtaining your license in South Carolina. So I went on, and I wasn't even a registered licensee with North Carolina yet, but I went on and submitted everything that I had. I had my license, my passport, or if you have some form of additional ID, you can upload that, your application fee. But there were some other things I didn't really know what to get, and I didn't have. One being a copy of your actual North Carolina license, which I didn't have yet. So I really should have waited till I had that first. There's a couple things on there that I didn't know what it was. One of those items, I'll read it, is a certification of licensure, showing your license is active and in good standing. Um, and that is something that you can get off the North Carolina Commission website. It cost about $10, I believe. And I had no idea how to do that or what it was. I had to call the South Carolina Commission and ask them what it was. And then they told me I had to go to North Carolina. And there's a tab on the North Carolina website, commission website, where you can find the document, you can pay $10, and it automatically populates the history of your license right there. It's really quick, it's really easy, but I didn't know that. Another thing that you have to have for your South Carolina license is a document called the Affidavit of Eligibility. That is something that certifies that you are lawfully present in the United States and that you are a United States citizen or you have you're a legal permanent resident. And I'm just reading this. It states that you are 18 years or older. This is something that you need to get notarized. I didn't realize this when I was signing on the application online. So these are all documents that you need to have before you even start the online application, because you can't go back into the online application after you've already submitted the documents. Then you'll have to submit the documents via email or snail mail, and you don't want to do that. So have all these documents before. So we just went over the affidavit of eligibility. I went to my bank, which is free. You can go to any bank, I think, that you bank with, and they will have usually a notary there, and you can call ahead of time to make sure the notary is available, or I just popped in, and he signed it within 5 minutes. If you're not a banker there, if you're not banking with that bank, excuse me, then you you have to pay, I think, $5 for a notary. But just avoid that. Go to your own bank, ask for a notary, have your affidavit of eligibility. He or she will sign the application, and you'll have that. You have to pay through the South Carolina Commission. You have to pay for a background check. It can't be your background check for your North Carolina license. It has to be an additional background check. And what I didn't understand is they don't send you or email you like the North Carolina, I have hair in my mouth, a North Carolina license. They actually emailed me and said, your documents are ready for your background check. I didn't hear anything from South Carolina background check or the company that they use. I had to call them like weeks later and say, is my background check done? I had no idea. And it was actually done like the day after I submitted it, but no one told me. I didn't know. So that, and then you have to, so I submitted the best I could. I submitted all the information that I could online first, didn't have my North Carolina license, like I said. And then I got a note from the South Carolina Commission that says, okay, here's a checklist of things you need. You need this, this, and this. I didn't realize I didn't have the things I needed to complete it. Some of the things that you need is also a criminal background check, like I mentioned. If you're an attorney, you must attach your official transcript. Like I said, affidavit of eligibility, your certification of licensure, where you can find that on the North Carolina Commission. You need to have your school certificate saying that you passed your North Carolina class, 75 student hour class hours. You do not have to take, at least in 2016, you do not have to take your CE for South Carolina. But you will be, as soon as you pass your test, you will receive a provisional broker status in South Carolina. And then you do have to take 30 hours of education within the first year to remove the provisional broker stamp on your license. But I think in 2017 of January, it's going to change where you will not receive a provisional broker license until you actually take your 30 credit hours for your education in South Carolina, and then you will receive your South Carolina license. So if you're looking at this video on the 2016 side, go ahead and get it now, especially if you already have your North Carolina Commission, North Carolina real estate license, then you might as well just go ahead and do it. Yeah. I'm rambling on. So submit all of that. The certificate of licensure is like $10. The background check is like $10 to $15. The application, I don't know, $25. And then when you pass, you have to pass the test, which is 35 questions. I would recommend that you go on an app called Quizlet. This is something that my teacher recommended in class for the North Carolina Commission. It's just an app where people can go on and create study lists. There's some great study lists that are already there, and you can use that to study. I would type in South Carolina state exam. That's all I did to study, and I passed. It was great. Go on there. I can't tell you any questions, obviously, but I would say if you want to pass the first time, go on Quizlet and type in South Carolina kind of license, because I had emailed the commission and I said, I don't really know how to study. There's not a lot of material. I definitely didn't want to buy another book, but I wanted to prepare for it. There are some links on the South Carolina Commission that go over the license law, and it's a very long legal document. And just like for the North Carolina Commission real estate license, you have those laws there. It's a very long, tedious document that you can go through. But what I did, honestly, I read that document a couple times, but I also went on Quizlet And that's what really sealed the deal for me as far as passing the test. I can say, I think, that there's no math on the South Carolina Commission state test exam. So it's pretty straightforward. There are a few differences between North Carolina and South Carolina, but the differences are not that huge. You will apply some of your basic information that you already know from North Carolina to South Carolina, but there are some differences that you definitely need to know, and those questions will be stated on the South Carolina Commission website with the links and the property disclosure documents. You can look at those. And like I said, please go to Quizlet if you want to pass your South Carolina test. I don't think anyone on any video that I've watched has mentioned Quizlet. Is just Quizlet. Go to Quizlet. That is the tool that you need to pass the test. So I had to submit the other documents I didn't have initially via email. I scanned them, and there was an email from the commission that said, send this checklist of things to this person in an email. It actually said your application for examination cannot be processed completely for the following reasons that are checked. They checked the couple things that I needed, and I had to submit those, and there was an email address. I didn't realize that you had to email the documents. I didn't understand what you had to do, just an email address. Okay, am I supposed to scan the documents, or can I get back to my online application? No, you can't get back into your online application. You have to scan the documents to the email that's listed on your checklist that was mailed to you via snail mail. Woo! After you pass a test, you do get a document right at the PSI Center that says pass, one for you and then one for your VIC that says pass, and then an application that your VIC has to sign, giving your agency name, your signature, their license number, and then you have to send that off with yet another check for 2 years, $25 per year. That relieves you, I want to say it makes you a broker, but I don't know if you send $50, if your provisional is automatically removed without the 30-hour education. I don't know, but I send my $50, and I'm gonna receive it in the mail probably on Tuesday of next week. It takes like a couple days, so I sent it off Thursday. I'll probably get it by Tuesday. So, yeah, I think that's all I had to do with the North Carolina license. I would just recommend that you go ahead and get it. It's 35 more questions. I think the test was $55. The application, $10 here, $20, $25 there, $25 there. But it all adds up, and it's going to make you a lot more commission if you have it. So, sorry for the scattered video, but I hope that helps somebody. If you have any questions, please leave your comments below.